Just a couple of days ago, Canva announced a whole range of updates to the Canva Visual Suite. And today I'm going to talk about the 5 that I think are the most interesting. We're going to see how they work, and if you hang around to the end of the video, I'm going to talk about the 3 that I think should come with a warning. Hi folks, if we haven't met before, my name is Wayne. I'm a creative director and a brand designer, and I help coaches and creators to up-level their visuals and design. Now, at the Canva Create 2023 event, there were a whole range of updates announced, some evolutions and some new features for Canva. And today we're going to look at 5 of them that I think fulfill the criteria that I think is important for these kind of tools to be really useful to us day to day, and that is to help us work smarter and faster, to help us create better visuals and content, and of course to keep us more consistent so that our brand personality really shines through all the time in all of our touch points. So today we're going to start by looking at Magic Design. Now this is a tool that essentially uses an image that you upload or choose as a starting point for presenting you with some initial design templates to start working with. You can choose an existing brand kit and color from Canva's selection, and of course you can still edit it. But what I think is really useful about this is that it provides you with a starting point and shows you how, just with consistent colors and typefaces, you can actually create a lot of variety using one single image. It's great for inspiring new ways of interpreting your brand colors and brand imagery, and I think it could be a really great starting point to stop having to trawl through hundreds and hundreds of templates to find the one that suits you. So let's have a look at how that works. So on the templates page within Canva, you'll see there's an option now to try Magic Design. What it'll do is ask you to insert media, and so I'm just going to use a photograph of me from one of my brand photos. As soon as I upload that, it presents me with designs already. Now, the first thing I can do is I can change the style and choose from one of the existing categories or themes that they've got. So modern, new, black and white, simple, classic. I'm going to choose minimalist because that kind of suits what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to choose a color palette that I think could work with this. And I'm going to stick with something pretty neutral. So I'm going to go with this one with the grays and the gold. Select those 2 things and say see results. And it's going to present us with a new range of templates which you can scroll through and just click one of those to start with. You can actually add headline text as well so that the starting point is even closer to what the finished one will be. But you can see just by using those consistent colors and fonts and that one image, I've already got a whole range of different approaches to this design that look consistent. So I think it's a great way to start with templates and make sure that you are more consistent with everything you're doing and give you some new ideas, because let's face it, we all get a bit bored designing with the same elements all the time. So number 2 on our list of features that I think are really interesting is a new tool called Magic Eraser. Now, you can probably tell from the name that what it does is it helps you erase parts of images to make them more useful or to remove blemishes from them. Now, this is not something that's incredibly new. Photoshop's been able to do it for ages. Some mobile phones have a native tool to do it, and also you can do it in loads of other apps. But it's native to Canva now, and that makes it really easy to work within the Canva ecosystem while you're designing. But because this is based on AI and machine learning, it can be a little irregular. So I wanted to try it out on some of my chosen photos and show you how it works and where it does really well and where it doesn't. So we're going to start by using this image that I found from Canva's image library. When you click on an image in any design that you're in, you can go to the top left and choose Edit Photo, and you now have access next to the other tools to this tool called Magic Eraser. If I click on Magic Eraser, it allows me the option to change a brush size, and then it tells me to just brush over the image. So if I want to remove one of the deer from this photo, I am just going to paint over it using my mouse. And once I'm done, I just let go of the button, and it will then start removing it from the picture. And you can see it removes it pretty cleanly. It's not flawless if you look closely, but actually it's really, really well done. Now this works best when it uses an image that there's a very isolated element that you want to remove. It doesn't do great with busy patterns, although it's actually pretty good with that. And it doesn't do very well with images that are on top of other images, for example. Let me show you a few others that I did, just images from the Canva library, and you can see what they look like with certain bits of the image or isolated elements removed. So number 3 on our list is a tool called BeatSync, and it's a really great addition to Canva's suite of video tools. And it allows you to automatically get your video in sync with the audio, particularly if you're using a music track. So this is something that could be really great for social media videos, for mood videos, and for YouTube videos as well. So let me show you how it works. All I've done is create a video project in here, and I've dumped in loads of images and videos from Canva. They're all at different lengths, different timings. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the audio tab, which now allows you to search for music and sound effects within Canva. And I'm going to just choose this track that I found here called Funkalicious, and I'm going to click and drag it into my project. First thing I'm going to do is drag it to the left to make sure that it starts at the beginning. And then what I'm going to do is just click at the top of the image here or of the project and click BeatSync. It opens a panel on the left-hand side which allows me to activate BeatSync, and it also has an option to display beat markers. As soon as I click on Sync Now, you will see that these individual clips all change timing to fit where the beats are in this music. So there you go, now it's automatically placed those cuts and changes to the beats of the music. The beat markers option that I've activated here allows me to see where those beats are, and those are these little markers, the little white markers at the top of the music track. So let's have a playthrough of the video and see what it looks like now synced to the music. So number 4 on our list is Magic Write. Now Canva has already had Magic Write as an option, but only in docs, and now it's available across the whole suite of Canva designs. And it's really particularly useful to give you a starting point or inspiration for ways to structure your copy. I'm going to show you how it works with a real example of my own so that we can see how good it is. If I wanted to create something that was a welcome paragraph for a graphic designer's website, what I'm going to do is just highlight the text in this box, and then on the bottom right here, I'm going to use this new tool from Canva called Canva Assistant. When I click on that, it will give me a couple of options. Now, because I have this text in a presentation, it'll give me a few additional options, but what I want to do is get it to rewrite this text. Now, when I click on Rewrite, it will automatically change that single sentence into a different format, but with the same meaning. And that's incredibly helpful when you're just trying to think of a new way to say things. So another way to use the Magic Write tool is to highlight the text within the box and then click on the Canva Assistant and ask to edit with Magic Write. Once you click that, it'll have this little pop-up window and it will ask you what you would like it to write about. So I'm going to ask it to write an intro paragraph for a graphic designer's website. When I hit enter, it will automatically create that text in this document for me. Now, this is a really decent paragraph of text, but there are a couple of other things you can do with Magic right now that I think are really useful. I think this paragraph is good, but it's a little long, so I'm going to click on Canva Assistant again, and I'm going to ask it to summarize that text, in other words, to shorten it. If I click that, it will automatically shorten it while keeping the meaning the same. You can also do the same by asking it to expand the text, and it will broaden that out, sometimes adding bullet points to elaborate on the meaning of the text. And of course, you can always ask it to rewrite it if it's not quite right. So one of the problems with AI writing tools is that they do tend to produce text that is quite generic. And so it lacks personality, it certainly lacks brand voice for your particular brand, but it can be an incredibly good starting point, especially to stop you just having to look at a blank page and come up with text. Using this tool, Magic Write within Canva, to give you prompts and structure and starting points for your copy is incredibly useful, and it's actually very adept at pretty much writing a paragraph or bullet points on any topic that you ask for. So as I mentioned before, because we're in a presentation, there are a couple of additional options that Canva's Magic Write allows you. So when we click on that assistant again, one of the things it's going to offer me because I'm in a presentation is to Magic Design draft a presentation with AI. Now, when I click on that, it's going to again ask me what I want a presentation about. So for the purposes of this, I am going to ask it to create a presentation about dog training. And when I hit enter, it starts to create that copy for me. And because it's a presentation, it not only creates some copy for me, it also asks me to choose a design that I can choose as a starting point. Now, obviously, you can just start again and choose other designs, but what you can do is pick one of these that you think might work, click on that, and it will then preview all the slides that it has created for this presentation. And you can see it has created a title, The Art of Dog Training, Tips and Tricks, and then it's created a structure for the presentation with basic copy already in, starting with Introduction to Dog Training, Basic Commands, Positive Reinforcement, Proper Training, Common Mistakes, Training for Specific Behaviors, Advanced Techniques, and a conclusion. Now that's a pretty great framework just with a click of a button, and it's got some starting text in there. So in terms of creating a presentation about topics that you already know about, or things where you just need a starting point to kickstart you, this is incredibly useful. The one caveat I would put in is that because this is just pulling images to fill these slides based on the keywords that are in the presentation, some of the images that it has used as I've been experimenting with this have been really bad. They're the kind of images that I just would never use in a presentation. But it's still a starting point for you, and you can obviously always apply a new presentation design just from Canva's general library or your own brand library. Speaking of your brand library, the next thing we're going to have a look at is a massive evolution of the Canva brand kits. Now, brand kits are only available if you're on a Pro or Teams account, but this has just evolved into something that I think is so robust and will make such a big difference day to day for a lot of people. If you wanted to try it out, you can sign up for a trial of a Canva Pro account. There is a link in the description below the video, so please just go to that link, sign up, and you can try it out for 30 days and experiment with some of these tools if you're on a free account. Now, brand kits in Canva have always allowed you to have some elements within them. You've been able to have a few logos, some text styles, and a few other things. What you can do now is essentially create an entire legitimate brand kit with brand guidelines in Canva. On the left-hand side, you'll see that there is now a brand hub. And when you click on that, it gives you access to all of the brand kits that you have created as part of your account. I'm going to show you what the brand kit for Created by Wayne looks like as I've created it here for this example. When I click into that, it now brings me to this expanded brand kit. It gives you access to load your logos, also your colors, and now it allows you to define specific fonts for title, subtitle, heading, subheading, section header, body, quote, and caption. And obviously you can choose from Canva's library of fonts or upload your own if you're on a Pro or Teams account. Now the other sections they've added is a section for photos so that you can have standard brand photos and make sure those are easily accessible. graphics, and icons. And it just makes it really easy for you and for anyone who has access to your Canva account to be able to find the right materials really quickly to ensure that everything you do is on brand and looks slick. One of the other things that was announced at Canva Create that I thought was worth mentioning is that Canva have now partnered with Monotype, who are essentially a font library. They have a huge range of really good professional fonts that are now accessible if you are a Canva Pro or Teams user. And you have access to all of those fonts now within Canva. So that's a really, really big bonus, especially for designers who are using Canva, and it makes it a little closer to a professional design tool which everyone can use. Another thing that may be of interest to you is that in any design in Canva now, when you go to amend a color, you now have the option to use gradients. So you don't have to rely on the Canva graphics library to introduce gradients into some of the graphics. You can actually do that directly here within the Canva color palette. So those are the 5 things that I think are really exciting and could be really useful day to day that Canva have just announced. But there are a few small things that I think will make a big difference to people who are using Canva for professional projects or using it across a wide range of materials who want to ensure brand consistency and work quicker. Canva have introduced the ability to see layers within your documents or designs so that you can move layers by clicking and dragging them much more easily. It also allows you to align things to a grid on the page or establish a grid, which again is akin to programs like Adobe InDesign and other layout programs. And the last thing, of course, is that you can also arrange things now using specific units or measurements, which allows you much more granular control of the look of things on your designs. A last thing I did want to mention that I think is a small tool but could be really nice for anybody working across different geographies or even promoting things worldwide on the internet. Canva now have the ability for you to simply click on a word or a phrase or a paragraph and ask it to translate. It has a huge range of languages already in there, which will be expanded, and I tested it out and discovered that actually it's incredibly accurate so far from the ones that I've seen. And I think it could be a really nice addition just when using a presentation when there are going to be multiple nationalities in the room. You could easily translate something and not have to rely on going out to Google Translate and finding other tools to do the same job. It's a small thing, but I think really useful considering how many of us work worldwide across the internet with our clients and our audience. So as promised, let's talk about the 3 things that I think should come with a warning. And the first of those is a tool called Magic Edit, which works very similar to the Magic Eraser tool we had a look at, but it allows you to essentially highlight an element within a photograph and then using an AI text prompt, have an AI-generated object replace that. Now, I tried that out on numerous things in the last couple of days, and for me, it's just not there yet. AI-generated images in general are not really that easy to refine, without spending a lot of time on them, and for me, that kind of defeats the purpose of it. The second tool is something that Canva have announced in presentations, particularly where you can create an animation path. So it basically means you can get an object to move along a path that you create by clicking and dragging it. So they had a couple of examples like a bee graphic flying from flower to flower, which were really cute. But in reality, I don't see how it will particularly enhance presentations. It could make them a little more fun, but actually even the examples I've seen online since the announcement of this have looked a little amateurish. And to be honest, I think that animation should be there to serve a purpose or to help clarify points. And I think putting too many of these gimmicky animations in could really detract from the message of your presentations or materials. And the third thing that I have some real concerns about is still the text-to-image tool within Canva. It's basically an AI generation tool. You type in some words, tell it what you want it to create, choose a style, and it creates an image for you. Now, I've seen this work really well, but I've also seen people spend hours and hours trying to get the right image by changing words and being descriptive, and for me, that defeats the purpose. These things need to make our lives easier, not make it more difficult to create the image that we want. I also think that with the problems that come with AI-generated images, so people who look plastic, animals that have too many limbs, patterns that seem really weird, For me, it detracts from the visuals that you have, and so I think it could be useful, but I still have some problems with it. I also still have concerns about the ethics of AI-generated images, particularly when they are drawing on other people's artwork and using those to create new images that include pieces of their artwork. But I would need to know more about how Canva's tool works before I could say really what I think about that. But for me, I just don't think the AI-generated images in Canva's text-to-image tool is really that useful for me yet. So that's it for today, folks. That was a quick summary of the 5 tools that Canva announced that I think are really interesting and that could be really useful for us day to day. But do have a look at the replay. As I say, that's linked in the description below. And if you want to try them out, please use the link in the description to go and try a Canva Pro account for 30 days. Otherwise, I will be back next week and we'll be talking about brand color palettes. So thanks for joining me. Have a lovely day.